Welcome to the explainer. So, you're looking at a biopsy of an extragonadal germ cell tumor, and you're thinking, where do I even start? Well, today we're going to demystify that whole process by breaking down the essential CAP protocol. This is your guide to getting it right every single time. Okay, picture this. You're a pathologist in training. You get this core biopsy, and the differential diagnosis is, well, it's wide open. A standardized approach isn't just nice to have, it's really your most powerful tool for navigating the complexity that's ahead. So let's just dive right in and figure out how to master this thing.
And that's where this comes in. You should really think of the CAP Chancer protocol as your GPS for pathology. Seriously, it's designed to make sure you never miss a critical turn. It helps you capture every single crucial piece of data consistently for an accurate diagnosis, proper staging, and, ultimately the best possible patient care.
So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this protocol together. We'll start with why we standardize in the first place, then get into the clinical context, the histology, and all the ancillary tests. And finally, we'll land at our destination, that synoptic report, where we put all the puzzle pieces together.
Okay, let's get right into the heart of it. This entire system is really built on one core idea, the requirement for synoptic reporting. But what in the world is synoptic reporting, and why is it so incredibly important? So this is not just about making your reports look neat and tidy. It's a critical patient safety tool. I mean, think about it. If you're a pilot, you need to know the exact altitude and airspeed of your plane, right? You wouldn't want that key info buried in some long narrative paragraph. You'd want it right there, clear and concise, something you can read at a glance. That is exactly what synoptic reporting does for the entire clinical team.
Now, before you even put that slide on the microscope stage, the protocol makes you stop and consider two of the most important clues in this whole diagnostic mystery: the patient's age and where the tumor is located. These two facts will fundamentally shape your entire differential diagnosis from the get-go. So here's the crucial point. Not all extragonadal germ cell tumors are created equal. You can almost think of them as two totally different species. Type I tumors, those are kind of like the gentle herbivores of the prepubertal world. But type 2 tumors, they're the fierce carnivores of the postpubertal jungle, and they come armed with that classic isochromosome 12p genetic signature. Now, check out how this slide just lays out those key differences so clearly. You can literally see the tumor's home base shifting from the sacrococcygeal area in babies all the way to the mediastinum and retroperitoneum in adults. And the histology? It's a whole different ballgame, moving from teratomas to seminomas and other way more aggressive non-seminomatous tumors. And this right here is exactly why specifying the site is so critical. If you spot a germ cell tumor in the retroperitoneum of an adult male, it's basically a 5-alarm fire. It immediately triggers an urgent clinical search for a primary in the testicle, which could be this tiny hidden ember or even a burned-out shell of what it used to be. All right, let's zoom in a little closer, shall we? Now we're at the microscope. Our eyes are glued to the glass, and we're ready to uncover the secrets hidden inside these tumor cells. So the CIP checklist gives you a complete list of histologic types to consider. This is what makes sure you're a sharpshooter, right? Hitting every single component, which is especially important in those tricky mixed tumors. Telling the common types apart is kind of like being a detective. Sometimes the clues on H&E alone just are not enough to crack the keys. That's when the protocol becomes your trusty sidekick, guiding you to look for key features and, as we're about to see, those ancillary tests that provide the smoking gun. But wait! There's more. Just identifying the histologic type is only half the battle. The protocol really pushes you to go a step further, to add crucial prognostic details through grading and by noting any important associated conditions. And just look at this really slick grading system for immature teratomas. It's all about how much immature neuroepithelium you can spot. This simple 3-step system is like a universal translator. It turns what you're seeing under the microscope into a grade that everyone on the team understands and that directly guides patient management. It's pretty brilliant. And please, don't let this slip your mind. The protocol also requires you to report any associated syndromes. For example, an extragonadal germ cell tumor in a patient with Klinefelter syndrome, well, that's a huge red flag. And you absolutely cannot forget those rare but deadly hematologic malignancies that can sometimes pop up in mediastinal cases. Okay, so what do you do when the morphology is a real head-scratcher? This is when you reach for your ancillary testing toolkit. This is the final piece of the puzzle that's going to lock in your diagnosis for sure. This table basically shows you the heavy hitters of germ cell tumor IHC. SAL4 and OCT4 are your all-stars, your go-to pan-germ cell markers that will prove a germ cell origin in a really poorly differentiated tumor. Then you bring in the specialists, like CD30 for embryonal carcinoma and CD117 for seminoma, to really nail down the exact subtype. And here it is, the smoking gun, the key genetic finding that can crack a tough case wide open. Isochromosome 12p, or I12p, is pretty much the calling card of type 2 adult germ cell tumors. Finding this is like finding a fingerprint at a crime scene. It can be incredibly helpful. And listen, don't you dare forget to connect the dots with the clinical lab data. A tiny, almost invisible speck of yolk sac tumor on your slide could be the culprit behind a sky-high serum AFP. And an elevated HCG is like a flashing red light for a choriocarcinoma component. This is a cross-check you absolutely cannot skip. Okay, so you've put in all the hard work, you've pieced the entire puzzle together. Now it's time for the grand finale, communicating all of your findings clearly and concisely to the clinical team. This is really where the magic happens. Your synoptic report, it's not just a summary, it's a masterpiece. Every single required element we've talked about, age, site, histology, grade, IHC, genetics, everyone is a brushstroke, creating a clear, actionable, and frankly, life-saving work of art. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? The CAP protocol ensures that every patient, no matter where they are, gets the same high standard of care. It's all about clarity, consistency, and ultimately saving lives. And that's why we, as pathologists, we have a sacred duty to follow this process for every single case. So, the next time you're faced with one of these challenging extragonadal germ cell tumor biopsies, just remember that you have a really powerful tool in your arsenal. You have the map, you have the skills, and you have the passion to make a real difference in your patient's life. Now go out there and be the best pathologist you can be.